Welcome back. It has been such a long time. In fact, it's been 8 months since we've recorded a Prosperous AF podcast. And let me tell you, it's been a wild ride. It's been messy, good, bad, in between, and but totally unforgettable.
For sure.
So,
We've missed you guys incredibly. But we have a lot to jump into. We're excited to just kind of tell you about how our journey has been. Like Amber said, the good, the bad, the in between. I don't want to say ugly because I don't think we've had like super ugly
no.
moments, but just wanting to launch this new segment, talking about some of the wins we've had since we lost Prosperous AF in February. So stay tuned for all the deets.
So, when we launched Prosperous AF, it was an exciting time. We were so pumped up. We were so excited about the vision, the long term, like what could be. Um, and that was an exciting time. We got set up right away. We were meeting every day. And we honestly had the time to be able to do that too. Were meeting for a couple of hours a day and we got set up like all the things, right? So like website, name, the name came real fast.
Yeah.
And but that was once we found our business name, it was like go mode. And I would say within a couple of weeks, we were just like up and at it. We were, even started networking. We went to the state capitol for Black Entrepreneur Day, where we actually met a key player in our business, who introduced us to a really great group that we have been networking in. And I think that just boosted our excitement, so much from the beginning was that we started to meet some really cool people, and just really see a vision for, okay, this is what we want to do. We can use the skills that we already possess. And our friendship, right? Like we loved getting on and talking to each other about what could be and what we were going to do. So that just created even more excitement for our brand and for what we were going to bring to the table to other business owners. Um, would you say that that was the same experience that you had, like that I'm having, that or
Oh
that
yeah.
that we were, just so excited to get things going. And we actually really took on roles within our business, right? So some of that structural thing that we still carry today of roles in the business, I was like, oh, I see the strength in you that I don't have, which was actually one of the reasons why I, had come to you with the idea of, hey, do you want to start a business? Is because the skills that you carry, um, like I just was like, I don't have some of those skills, right? So from the beginning, we established roles within the business. And that's how we really got a lot of things done was you take on this and I take on this. And we got stuff done real fast.
Oh yeah, 100%. I would say I'm very aligned with how exciting launching Prosperous AF was, and is still to this day.
Mhm.
We got into some really big rooms. We had a really user-friendly experience that I don't think either of us anticipated right off the bat, right? We
Mhm.
went to the state capitol, we met super cool people,
Mhm.
um, not super wanting to name drop or anything, like Shaletta, because that is her event. And meeting Dante, who then introduced us to another cohort that we're really big players in right now. So it was a very exciting time and still is a very exciting time since we have now established and built a lot of relationships around how we launch and when we launch. So absolutely, I agree. I think it was super exciting. We were on calls like you said 2 or 3 hours. We were on calls all day. I mean, we got probably 6 months of work done in like 2 weeks or 3 weeks
Mhm.
because it was just so invigorating at that point. And we did a lot, like we brought a lot to the forefront at that time. And it really helped us, I think, grow and learn a lot about us,
Mhm.
about our business. Um, and I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful for the time that we had launching because everyone can't say that they have that experience.
Well, right, and I think that a lot of people, um, would say, when we would meet people, they would say, "Oh, you've only," we would actually I would say there were times where we would, like, willing to say, "Oh, we've only been in business for, like, 2, 3 months, 4
Yeah.
months." And then there were times where, like, we don't wanna say how long we've been like, we don't wanna appear so new, right? But, like, every times
Mhm.
we would say, "Oh, we've only been doing this for, like, 4 months," people would be like, "Oh my gosh, like, that's no way. You guys look like you've been in business for, like, a couple of years by now." And I was like, "No, I
That's
mean,
true.
you know?" So that was the exciting part about it, and that's what, really gave us some really great foundation,
Mhm.
um, and confidence in order to actually talk to people and be like, "Yeah, like, I know what I'm talking about."
Yeah, I would
Yeah.
also say that from my viewpoint, our one of our biggest wins was our
Mhm,
branding.
mhm,
It's I think what grasps people the most when they initially meet us and their ability to identify who we are as individuals and as a partnership is clear. And a
mhm,
lot of people have issues bringing clarity around their branding, right?
mhm,
And to this day, I get people who are like, Prosperous AF wasn't in the room, and you could tell. It's like people knew that we brought and we bring a certain aura
mhm,
about us.
mhm,
And if one of us is missing out of the space, it's known
mhm,
just because. And it's like, oh, you're Prosperous AF. I've heard so much about you. And where's the A in AF? And where's the F in AF? So it's like our brand was a really big win and
mhm,
is still a really big win because that I know when we were constructing all of this, we really wanted to hone in on who we are and being authentically us individually and together. We wanted
mhm,
to be authentic to everyone who was viewing us or every space that we were in. And I feel like we really did do that.
mhm.
People really resonate and understand who we are as people, as business owners, as moms, as entrepreneurs. I think we really knocked that one out of the park.
Mhm.
Um, of course, starting with the name, our dual meaning, which has worked out very well
I
for
think
us.
people love it. Yeah, people love it so
I
much. I think that is one of the hooks.
you were a little hesitant, and I told you that it was going to be okay and that it would be fine, and it was like people get it, right? And then our slogan of "If you know, you know," like
Yeah.
obviously it's AF, but it's also like we want you to be prosperous AF.
Right.
So I think it really was resonant with people in and outside of our immediate space. And I think that was a super huge win for us.
Mhm.
And that's something that a lot of people have luck with, especially with launching a business and an online business for that matter.
Yeah. So when we talk about the spaces that we've been in, the people that we've met, um it has been, I know that like watching you light up in the rooms has been fun. But it's also been one of the things that has pushed me forward as well to really light up, and we talk about that brand, right? Like it's cohesive, but it's also like we both have our own personalities, and I think people can catch on to that right away.
Mhm. Mhm.
um you're always, lights, camera, action, I'm ready to go, and I'm kind of more reserved, like, oh, I'll just be right over here in the corner.
Yeah.
um but the good thing that I have seen that has come out of this is my personality. And well, I want to talk once we, kind of recap a little bit. I'm going to talk about 3 Ps. Those were kind of like some of the good things that came out of that. But my
Mhm.
personality was really one of the things that I've been able to shine through. In other
Mm.
spaces, I haven't been able to get that out so much, only because I tend to be the caretaker with a lot of things. And so I struggle to put myself, at the forefront and in front of people. So, when, especially in spaces where there were meetings that I went to by myself, I was nervous to go by myself. But then once I was like, oh, like this is no big deal, I really opened up and let my personality shine. So
But for
that
people
was,
to even know that you are a little bit more reserved, especially as you're coming into a newer space, and
mhm.
for me to have people reach out to me and be like, "Yo, Amber killed it today." Like, I am so proud of you coming out of your shell and the progress I've seen you make, and not necessarily progress in a way of like how you are was wrong, but just being comfortable enough to
Mhm.
like really show that personality of yours that's truly hidden, unless it's like people you're comfortable with. And
Yeah.
sometimes in business, you do have to bring that out even when you don't
Mhm.
want to. And it's hard, but you were able to overcome some of those initial fears that you even had with me initially and let your true carefree self show. And I think it even made it easier when you were able to see how people were receptive to it, because that
Mhm.
could be another barrier, that people have when they feel like people might think that their aura or their personality is like misplaced or not the right thing or the status quo for what you see for women in business. But
Yeah.
seeing you get over that hurdle and like leap forward and to be open and honest about like the fact of this space is new to me, but I'm gonna do it anyways and get the
Mhm.
feedback you got, man, super proud. We're gonna clock it one time. Prosperous AF clock. Yeah, 100% agree. I am so proud of you. You came out of your shell. You were, I mean, like come probably like May-ish. In
Mhm.
some of these meetings, I was just like, okay, okay, yeah,
Well, I also think that the brand itself is almost like its own personality.
it is. At
So
this
like
point, it
I
is.
like, I feel more comfortable coming into a room saying, "Okay, this is the brand that like is a part of me and I'm a part of it." So,
Mhm.
and it turns heads and, gets people's attention. So,
Yeah.
once I realized that people were like paying attention, I was like, "Oh, okay, like this is fun." So, I've definitely found the enjoyment in it. So, yeah.
Well, and on the flip side of that, I would say it also allowed me to also like sit back and like not want to fill up space. Liberian people say fill up space all the time. And just kind of take it all in and understand that like I don't have to be the center of attention all the time, even though I do like to do that. So that was growth on my part, right? Just being
Yes.
able to sit back and see you thrive and flourish as a part of like our partnership and as your own individual and
Mhm.
you setting your own goals and, jumping over your own fears. It gave me that perspective of, yes, that's my A in AF. So it was a growth moment for me too. It's like I don't always have to interject and like be the face of Prosperous AF. I can also allow you to shine and let you thrive in an element that clearly you can thrive in. So it was growth on both parts. I was, man, I can't tell you how many times I was like, I mean, I can't hide those things. It's like, yes, that's my Amber. That's my Amber. So it was definitely a lot of growth on both parts. I'm really thankful for those opportunities.
Well, yeah, and I would say growth, not just in the spaces,
Mhm.
since we started this business, but growth in knowledge and process and we talk about our to-do lists, right? And so like I think that was something that I had already had in place
Mhm.
for a long time and I introduced that and I was like, let's do our checklists, like let's stay on track. And you implemented that into your own
Mhm.
personal life, into our business. And I would say that is another thing that you just came along and you were like, "Yep, I see the how this works. I see the success of it and I'm going to implement it." And you did. And I was like, "Yeah," like to the point where like you were on radio show and you were talking about it and I was like, "Oh my gosh." I was like freaking out because you were talking about like the, process and systems and checklists and like literally on your own. And we've read books and talked about things and just you coming along and like seeing that success, seeing that in a vision has been, I think, one of the growth spots that I've seen you come along with as well. So you had no problem walking into rooms, right? You were just like, "I'm here." And I'm like, "Oh, she's here."
And it
But
works. I mean, it works. Literally yin yang energy is what I
yeah,
think everyone got. And
yeah,
it literally worked
it works.
because people were spot on about who we were as individuals and how we mesh in
Mhm,
our partnership for our business.
mhm,
So
mhm,
no complaints there. I think those were very valuable things. I 100% saw the value in what you were doing and implementing structure in your own life. And I quickly identified that I needed to implement it as well. Because as you know, we're moms and we juggle a lot of things. And some days I felt
mhm,
like my head was spinning. And it's like as
mhm,
I started bringing more structure, my successes were more. Um, and I saw how important it was to you also, because you
mhm,
are a very structuralized person, and I'm more like wing it, fake it till you make it. And it's like, how do we merge those two things? So
mhm,
it identifying that I needed it in my personal life, and also seeing how much it meant to you
mhm,
as a partner, and how like you worked and the success and value behind it. Of course, I'm like
mhm,
all in, because like, with I'm not like a big book reader, but knowledge is important when you're
mhm,
starting a business, when you're wanting to sustain long term. And I started identifying like, yo, if I want to really be a partner and a good partner long term, and I want to also be personally successful, I need to want to learn, engage, and implement structure within my life.
yeah, I love it. And this is it's part of the process, right? The kind of like the second P I want to talk about is the process. And you really have to have that and constantly be working on it. Like
Of course.
as we have started and kept going and throughout the weeks, we've established process and we've refined process um to a point now where it's just like an expected thing, right? It's just like, okay, what's the process, and so I think that's one of the also the really great things that have come out of this business is just a system and a process that we still keep going to this day. We still
Mhm.
are on our calendars and our emails and like just all the things that go into running a business. It was established early on, and we continue to follow that. So that was and again, like I sometimes I know I'm completely nerdy when it comes to like process and systems. I love structure. I don't always like 100% stick to like all the structure all the time, but I do
Mhm.
know like, oh, if I'm off track, why am I off track? Is because I'm not sticking to my process, and so it's like, okay, what's the next checkbox item I need to get going? And then usually um, it really starts a snowball effect of like, okay, let's get back on it. So
For
that was one of
sure.
the things, yeah, one of the things that I've really been so proud of both of us in order to just get up and going and continue to keep going because here we are. We started a podcast as well, and we're continuing with it. So that's exciting.
Another thing I will highlight, as a big win for our business is when we came to market and we started, having initial conversations with business owners, especially business owners in the demographic that we wanted to target, who might not have some of the knowledge set around systemizing your business early on, and implementing structure was the reception of it, like
Mhm,
being on calls and literally seeing people like have aha moments or talking at, networking events and people are like, I really haven't thought about that. That could may be my bottleneck, getting people and steering people away from like always thinking that operating in chaos is normal and healthy in business or is sustainable. And also just helping them walk through some of the bottlenecks that they hadn't even identified or weren't able
Right.
to connect, is another big win for us. I think people that we engaged with, on a certain level started to understand and see the expertise in what we bring and provide based on just initial conversations of, oh wow, that I didn't think about it that way, or oh,
Mhm.
this could probably be my issue more than like money, because everyone's problem is money, but that's a topic for a different day. But I loved seeing, and a big win I think for both of us was just seeing people light up and be more engaged about wanting to like take the reins of their business and understand like how can I implement these things to sustain me for growth.
Mhm.
And that was something that just really knocked my socks off, as we were
Mhm.
having those conversations.
I agree. Yeah. It's been really great being able to meet people.
Mhm.
We've established some really great relationships throughout the time that we've been a business and just some really like, well-known figures here in the Twin Cities area. Um, I think, when we first walked into some rooms, we were a little starstruck. We're just like, oh my gosh, it's that person.
Yeah.
Oh, they really like I'm seeing them in person. So
Yep.
that's been one of the really great highs for me. I mean, it's not like, I don't want to be like, celebrity level, but like it's
Right.
people that are well-known names and you're just like, "Oh yeah, they're out here hustling too." Like they are really
Mhm.
having to be in these rooms too.
Mhm.
And so that's been one of the really cool things that I have experienced with building this business with you and walking into a room and just being able to establish relationships with other people, um, and and continuing to foster those relationships. So, yeah, that's been
Absolutely.
awesome. I love it.
Well, as we come to the conclusion of our relaunch and segment one, Um, I just want to call on the audience. If you've had a win recently, no matter how small, celebrate it and share it with us on socials. Our handles are all Prosperous AF, no space. Drop it down in the comment section. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, the whole
All the
whirlwind of
things.
all the things that you can do.
Push it to the
But a
algorithm.
teaser for, please push it, push it, push it, push it. Next time we're getting real about the lows. Dun dun dun. The struggles that almost broke us and the lessons that we learned along the way. Now, clearly you can see we are not broken.
No.
Are you broken, Amber? Because I'm not.
No way.
Okay. We are not broken. We are thriving and vibing and continuing on this prosperous AF journey. But one of the things we really wanted to do was to be honest, transparent, and open about you guys about our journey. And we figured that this three-part segment would be the best way to do so. And also give you updates of what we've been doing, what we've been up to. So stay tuned for segment two. We'll talk about the lows. We'll go into just some of the hurdles that we experienced being system implementers because we have problems too. Um, and yeah, just sharing real life stories about, what we've discovered along the way. Some of the rock bottoms we've hit, not necessarily rock bottoms for lack of better words, but yeah, make sure you tune in for segment two. It's going to be filled with all the deets. I love giving you guys all the juicy details.
All right,
So
until next
for
time.
now, Prosperous AF out.